Hey y'all, I hope you're well. Welcome to another episode of Healthcare Boulevard. This is a podcast where we shine more light on healthcare, and our goal here is to provide more options to people looking to choose healthcare as a career path, regardless of their background. My name is Sena Kapomo, and I am your host and creator here. I thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your support. Remember, you can tune in on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. I am here for another interview, and I am excited to introduce my guest today. We are still in the pharmacy realm, and so she is a soon-to-be pharmacist, and I am going to learn as much about her as you guys are, because unlike most of the guests I've had here, I haven't gotten the chance to know her before this, really. So I'm very excited. The brief conversation we've had before I turned this recording on, I was excited already. So let's get this going. Chidinma, please introduce yourself. Tell the listeners whatever you want to them to learn about you as an introduction, and then we'll get it started.
Sure. It is a pleasure being here. I was just telling her this is so dope. Full circle moment here, of course, being a listener of podcasts and then being on one. So this is really dope. My name is Chidinma. I'm a fourth year doctor of pharmacy candidate at Florida A&M University. Currently on rotations in South Florida, which is where I'm from. I have an interest in ambulatory care and geriatric pharmacy, and so currently on my community rotation at Walgreens, which isn't too bad. I worked in retail before. I also worked in the hospital realm, so it's a great way to kind of just bring back all those things I've learned and that patient interaction that I really love, which is one of the reasons why I love pharmacy as well.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. And what's your journey to where you are educationally and professionally speaking?
Right. Oh my gosh. It hasn't been as cool, I'm pretty sure, as anyone else on the
No, it's
podcast.
your journey, and it's different,
But
it's unique, and that's what I love about it.
right. So I only have a high school diploma to my name.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. So at FAMU, it's a 6 year program. You're coming straight from high school. You do 2 years of undergrad, which is like 4 years of grad kind of squeezed in.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kind of just like float into the professional program. So that's your 4 years of grad, aka pharmacy school. And
Mm-hmm.
you'll be coming out with a PharmD. At no point are you conferring any degree. It's a one stop shop. So if you stop midway, you come out with nothing. I guess to
Mm-hmm.
further encourage us to keep going and take it all the way.
Right.
I believe FAMU at one point did offer like the PharmD MBA 4 year program, but that's kind of gradually fizzing out. And I think now they're also offering a couple of things in like pharmaceutical sciences, whatever. But pharmacy, it's been a thing. It's been a thing for a minute. So for me, pharmacy it's been a lifelong thing, I guess. Ever since I was a kid, half my family is cardiovascular, so like heart and blood issues. The other half suffers from like diabetes and complications from it. A lot of death,
Mm-hmm.
um, therefore. And so I, with that, have always been curious as to like just medications in general and how and why they work, and wanting to be that trusted medical professional for my family so they can come to me for medical advice. And so pharmacy and just being a pharmacist has been a dream of mine since the fourth grade,
Oh
which is
wow.
crazy, but it's been rewarding. I've never had a plan B except for that one time in high school when I wanted to be a neurologist for like 20 minutes. Never again. I just looked into how much schooling it went to. I was like, yeah, no. I love the brain. I still love the brain, but
Mm-hmm.
not that much. I love drugs so much more. They're so cool. And so in that, um, went to high school, of course. You can't really see it right now. I mean, nobody can because it's all audible. But I'm tall. Like I'm 6 feet 2 inches.
No
Um,
way, you
I
is
realized
tall.
very early on,
Wow.
I don't like to sweat. Okay, so sports never been my thing. Modeling is not my ministry. So
It's
what
okay.
else
I
am I
wasn't
gonna
gonna
do
ask you if you play basketball or not.
about it? I did. You know what? I succumbed to life's pressures like seventh, eighth grade, and I wasn't bad until I went into high school and was like, yeah, no, I'd rather read a book. So that did that very quickly.
I love it.
But I have, but I only have like a high school diploma to my name again. And so just that the pervasive idea of just pushing through and pushing on, because it's one of those things that it's not easy. A lot of
Mhm,
people, a lot of times, I won't say a lot of people, a lot of times, but people, they would say, we would say 6 years, six figures at
mhm,
FAMU because it is a 6 year program. And for those individuals that were solely motivated by the financial, take back of the profession,
mhm,
it's tough. Like you have to really want this because
mhm,
in those moments, as you know, in those moments where it gets really, really rough and like the going really gets going, you have to really know why you're doing this
mhm,
and be super unshakable. And so coming into FAMU, being in HBCU was great. Oh my gosh, loved it. Love it right now. Just black excellence, just being in a space where I can see people that look like me,
mhm,
all succeeding, also successful. I personally am motivated by the success of others. I am excited by the success of others, and so just being in a space where I can be myself
mhm.
and I can be my professional self and my personal self at the same time. And having that development both ways. But life always does what it does. You know what I'm saying? Life is going to do what it does. It's
Mhm.
been a crazy journey. I've lost a lot. I've lost a lot of people.
Mm.
A lot of people have come in and out of my life. A lot of things have changed financially, physically, mentally, emotionally. All those good things. This spring of 2019 was a terrible year for me academically, and personally, and it set me back.
Mm.
But I'm here to tell you today that your journey is a marathon and not a race,
Mm.
right? And what's meant for you is meant for you. Everybody's going to go through their own personal battles and have their own trials and tribulations, but it's not about how you fall; it's about how you get back up, right? And I can't say I did it by myself. I've
Mhm.
leaned heavily into my faith and had a really great support system of people to tell me you can do this or stop procrastinating. And so super thankful for that. I again only have a high school diploma to my name. It's a 6 year degree. It's a 6 year program, and so it's so crazy because in the fourth grade, that was like 15, 16 years ago, it was a dream, and now another year it's gonna be reality. And
So
sometimes
close.
it freaks
So
me out, but
close.
it's like wow, like all full circle here. So really excited for what is to come.
Oh, that's exciting. I mean, I have to say, it's folks like you scare me a little bit, okay? And let me tell
Oh
you why.
my
Let me
god.
tell you why, okay? To really know and understand what you want to be professionally, and even really, in a sense, what your life calling is as a teenager, let alone even younger than that. Now, that's some real self knowledge. Like, like I have to give it up to you. What I didn't even remember what I thought I wanted to be when I was a teenager. So that's that's real. That's real.
Well, of course, though, I reflect a lot. I do a lot of self reflection. Do a lot of introspection. Like
Mm,
I used to do a thing where, like, before I go to sleep, I just think about the day, think about my decisions, think about things I've said, things I didn't say, just to do like a self check,
mhm,
and then go to sleep, wake up, hopefully a better person with a
mhm.
better day. So, nah.
That's wild. And that really is key for positive healthcare professional, because it's not it's I mean, no job is easy, period.
Right.
But when you're essentially dealing with people's health and their potential mortality and things like that, that's some heavy stuff. So I'm very happy that you are very like in tune with your, I gotta this how I do it. This is what I need to do. You are just having met you recently. You're a very happy person. So I would be happy to have you as a pharmacist. You're gonna be one happy pharmacist.
So close. Yes,
I
I am
know.
I am here to serve you, putting you on the path to better health, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, yes. And thank you for that. And so okay, so you went from high school straight into the program, right?
Yes.
How is okay for this for that school? Is that school known for that? FAMU is that not? They're known
Yes.
for
Yeah.
that.
Like, yes.
Okay.
Financially as well. Like, so for people like myself, for instance, that had
Mhm.
scholarships or just in general, like undergraduate tuition, it would carry over. So yes,
Mhm.
it's a 6 year program, and you would think in those first 4 years, or I apologize, it's a 6 year program, and so you would think in those 4 years you're paying grad fees. When in actuality, those first 2 years are still kind of undergrad. So
Mhm.
it's the biggest bang for your buck, which like
Mhm.
very much was the reason why I went.
Mhm.
they gave me the most money, and it just made a lot of sense financially. I knew a couple of people that ran the program, and it's pretty famous. I guess that's the word. Like, it's pretty.
Mhm.
The program itself is very much known, especially in Florida. So
That's what's up. And so what when you were going from high school to this program, were there any entrance exams that you had to take?
nope.
Hmm.
I just had to, I mean, your standard like SAT, ACT, whatever
Mm-hmm.
you did as a high school student, send in the application, do a couple of essays, fill out the forms. Yeah.
That's it. And then you didn't have to take any other like besides just taking classes and those you have to take any um added exams or anything when you went from general classes to pharmacy specific
Nope.
classes.
No
Wow.
PCAT. No PCAT was required.
Wow.
That was back in my time. I think there's some talk about there potentially being one soon, but nope, no PCAT. One of
Wow.
the fewer schools that does not require one. Like, so for instance, I do have a couple of classmates that did confer some sort of degree, like a bachelor's in chemistry, biology, that did take the PCAT because they were applying
Mm-hmm.
for other places. But for those in my cohort that came from high school, we not like we kind of knew we were in, but every week, for instance, in our schedules is this thing called forum, and
Okay.
so that was us having to go into the pharmacy building. We have to dress professionally in the building at all times. We would
Mm-hmm.
go in. That's a great way for us to kind of interface with some of our future professors. We learn a lot of things, just learn small things about the program. Through that, I was able to meet and volunteer with some professors, which is pretty cool, and just get a general feel
Mm-hmm.
for the program and the environment and the culture overall.
Mm-hmm.
So it personally came time for the interview. I've been in communication with the interviewee or interviewer rather for
Mm-hmm.
like 2 years. So it was
Mm.
just like, hey, all right, let's just get this in.
Right.
But yeah, nothing,
Wow.
no entrance exams, nothing like that.
Okay. And right now, how has the process been just being in that 6 year program? So the 2 years were general classes like most people would take in college, I assume, like English, math, chemistry,
Right.
bio, things like that. And then you transition into pharmacy specific classes. How was that transition for you?
So it was interesting. So at that time, so my first year in pharmacy school, I was still kind of involved in like a couple of things that I was doing on campus, like undergrad.
Mm-hmm.
I told myself like that would be my last year, so I can transition into more so like leadership and community service and just general volunteerism, like that is more so pharmacy specific.
Mm-hmm.
So going from your organic chemistry to therapeutics, that was like wow. It kind of hit a couple of us because it's like the level of thinking, the amount of time, it's an adjustment for sure. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I know a couple of us, that would memory dump it and get A's. You cannot do that in pharmacy. There's so
Right.
many things that, of course, they build upon each other. And that first year is all foundational. And so if you're not really getting and grasping that, then when you start adding on drugs, start adding on therapy, start adding on counseling, things like that, it's all not going to make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I would say for me, it wasn't too bad. It could have been a lot worse, and it could have definitely been a lot better. But I think after that first semester, after getting my feet wet and just finding a groove,
Mhm.
then it got a little better. But I mean, it's still crazy.
You're like,
I'm
it's still crazy. I'm just going through it.
yes, yes, to this day. But it's all good. We're taking it one day at a time out here.
Yeah. And when is your projected graduation date?
So I looked on the website like 2 days ago. I want to say
You're like,
it's
I've
like
been begging.
I gotta just put it in my calendar, just put it out into the atmosphere. But it's late April, latest early May of 2022. So in a couple of months. Woo, woo, woo.
All right. All right. And you will be done. Okay.
Yes.
So once you're done with your program next year, this time you'll definitely be done and we'll be partying. With
Huh.
no mask on.
Right, right, right.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, oh my gosh,
Um, once you're done, do you take the I don't know what I forgot the name of your
the
certification.
Naplex. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you take that to be certified as a pharmacist, right? Do
Yes, that means
you
you. So, yeah, go ahead.
no, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so the NAPLEX, so we take two exams. So you
Mm-hmm.
have the NAPLEX, so that just makes us a licensed pharmacist.
Mm-hmm.
No, I apologize. That basically tells us or tells people like we have our doctorate in pharmacy, like we
Okay.
are pharmacists. Now to be licensed, so to actually be able to practice without going to jail, you have to take something called your MPJE. So that's the law exam. And the cool thing about the law
Oh,
exam is, of course, we have 50 states. And I mean, at any point in time, I'm from Florida, sure, but I can move to Georgia, I can move to Wyoming, and
mm-hmm.
every state has its own set of laws. Florida's and I think California's and New York's are the craziest.
I
Everywhere else is
believe
pretty
it.
cool,
Yeah.
right? And so you can take as many MPJEs as you want. I think I know one person who has like 8 under her belt, which is
Oh,
crazy.
wow, okay.
She moves around a lot, so it
I
makes sense.
see. Wow.
But yeah, the NAPLEX is the one and done. But of course, you continuously have to do some continuous educations like CEs,
Mm-hmm.
just
Yeah.
making sure that you're up to date and in the know of new things or just current practices and therapies, things like that.
Okay, so the what was the second one? J
MPJE, I don't really know what it stands for yet.
MPJ. Okay, well, we'll
MPJE.
just go with that.
I should know, but I'm not there just yet.
It's all good. It's all good. So that one is state specific then?
Yes, it is state specific. But I mean, it's one of those things. If I don't like, I don't not like I don't need it. Of course, for me, like if I wanted to practice as a pharmacist, as a licensed pharmacist, I need to take it. But I
Uh,
know some people that have not. Some people just have that doctorate in pharmacy, but they're doing research. So you're
mm,
not necessarily at Walgreens or CVS or somebody's hospital or something, dispensing meds. You just have that knowledge, and then you're
oh,
going for your PhD. So it's one of those things that if you're trying to practice, like practice, definitely got to take it. If not, I mean,
hmm. So okay, so it's need so one is needed for you to be like, all right, I'm a PharmD, done and done. The
right.
second one then is for clinical pharmacists essentially to be
Really,
able
if you're just
to.
trying to like that, just means you are a registered pharmacist under the law. Like, hey, my
Mhm,
name is Dr. Chidinma, and I have the right to serve you
mhm.
medication without going to jail.
Right, right.
Yeah, the,
Yeah.
the key word is
Oh
not
wow.
going to jail.
Right. It's like, don't go to jail. Please don't do it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay, that makes sense. And you guys have to, I'm guessing y'all have to renew that. Do you have to renew that?
That's a great question. Yes. 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 It's like another CE, another continued education.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because of course, new laws pop up and some old laws fade away with
Mm-hmm.
time. So again,
Mm-hmm.
just the idea of being in the know and constantly knowing what's really going on as to not go to jail.
Right.
Because if
That's the
you're
goal. I
yeah,
love
let's
it.
not,
It's like, don't go to jail.
let's not go to jail because it's risky out
Don't do
here.
it. Stay out here.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh wow. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, of course.
And so are you personally planning on doing any residency or fellowship?
Yes, so I definitely want to do a PGY1 in general pharmacy practice somewhere. And after that, complete my PGY2, so that second year in ambulatory care.
Okay.
And so ideally, I guess after that, or whilst I'm doing the PGY2, of course, getting that board certification in ambulatory care pharmacy, but then also achieving my board certification in geriatric pharmacy at some point in time. I love the elderly population. Like, I love my silver superstars. In the Nigerian culture, Nigerian African, so like the elderly population is so highly revered and respected, for
Right.
their wisdom and just for being walking textbooks. And I love listening to their stories. And so just being able
Mm-hmm.
to do what I can to preserve their lives and advocate for them, because polypharmacy and just the idea of them having a lot of meds and not really or people not really taking into consideration aging and how that can
Mm-hmm.
affect the body. And so just being there with that knowledge to stratify all those things and make sure that they are Gucci. On top of that, I personally didn't grow up with my grandparents. All of them passed away before I was born. So I
Mm-hmm.
guess this is my way of taking care of them vicariously through somebody else. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's kind. That's kind. Um, and once you start working and everything like that. Oh no, sorry, different question. Right now, are you working while you're in school, and uh, how is that
yeah.
affecting your studies,
So
if at all?
currently transitioning, I was working at Gold Coast Regional Medical Center. So that's in Panama City. It's a hospital. I was a pharmacy intern there for a couple of months. Prior to that, I worked at CVS Pharmacy as an intern for about like 3 years, 2.5, 3 years.
Okay.
So it's definitely a balancing act, but it's so worth it. Just the idea of, you know, learning something in school and then seeing it in real life.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple of things that, especially as you work in retail, for instance, that you see over and over and over and over, and it just sticks a little quicker and sticks a little
Mm-hmm.
better than for those who've never seen it at the first time. So,
Right.
if for anybody listening, if you are in pharmacy school, work, please work. Like, experience is everything. Like,
Mm-hmm.
experience is everything. Any type of experience is an experience. It's just the idea of putting it under your belt, so that if somebody got to ask you about it, you have something to talk about. And through that, you learn a lot, especially in retail, a lot about interpersonal skills, being able to talk to people, looking at, again, you have access to over 300 drugs, and you have a pharmacist that you can pick their brains about. And you're also looking into, time management and managing that, how to manage a team, how to workflow, all those things that you're getting, when you clock in for those 4 to 8 hours or however long you work. So Jess, working at the hospital is so dope as well. I'm honestly blessed with the opportunity to say that I've worked in two different, I've seen two different facets of pharmacy.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now back at home, applying for jobs. Hopefully the people mess with me so that I can work, because again, experience is everything. And through that, you get to meet people, learn about people, and make connections. And
Mm-hmm.
connections go a long way. So
Yes, yes. Connections is everything in most fields.
everything. Exactly.
In
It's not
most
about what you know,
fields.
it's about who you know.
And currently, hold on, give me 1 second. I'll cut this
Yeah.
out. But what was I gonna ask you? Oh, how is work-life balance? Like, are you still able to spend time with your family and all sort of things? Especially with working and school and so forth.
Yeah, so someone I talked to someone about that, and he brought up a good point that it's never going to be balanced,
Mm,
and so it's more so about work-life integration and being intentional about it, because it is important to have that time for yourself, to yourself, and to pour back into yourself. And I always tell myself and others, you cannot pour from an empty cup, and that's in
mhm,
all facets of your life, especially mentally. You got to protect that space. And so doing things that you actually enjoy and being intentional about setting time throughout the day, if not week, for it is so important. But at the same time, the grind is real.
mhm,
And I'm a night owl, and I'm trying to do better about sleep and stuff. But sometimes, when the due dates are coming and things are pressing, you got a million things you got to do going on, and you got to work this week. you're gonna have to, make those sacrifices and just reward yourself accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and so for me, it's something I'm still. It's an ever present like learning experience for me. Like just the idea of self care, for instance, it's pretty new. I want to say like a year or two old. And so having just being better at like making it more so routine and not like as needed or every now and again type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it is important. I can't tell you how to do it because I'd be a hypocrite, but find a way, something you like. For me, for instance, I mean, I love food. I think food is an experience. It's the cheapest way to travel. You can have Greek in the morning, you can have Mexican in the afternoon, and you can end up with some ice cream from Italy, or wherever, some gelato in the evening. And so just food is great. Sometimes just putting on a nice candle, get some music on. I used
Mm-hmm.
to have this thing called like a self care Saturday. Do a nice little, mud mask or something. Just make yourself feel good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I I've I've recently started like I have like plant children. I have a mint plant named Tea, and I have a lemongrass plant named Zesty. Oh my gosh, I love them. I'm trying to be. I'm trying. I was like, please start me off low maintenance because I'm gonna work my way up to like a turtle, and then we're gonna go from there.
I
Yes,
love
I'm
it.
so excited. But yeah, so that's super important. If you're, I mean, of course, the pandemic's the pandemic, but the one thing I did miss was just being around people. Like I
Mm-hmm.
love people. I love the energy. I love learning from others. And so, be intentional about hanging out with that friend or two, or having that brunch date, lunch date. Make it a monthly thing if need be, um, because it's important. It's
Mm-hmm.
important. You got to
Mm-hmm.
pour it back into yourself. So however you do it, however you fix it for
Yes.
yourself.
Yes, that's great advice. And especially with everything happening, it can be so lost in your own shenanigans, and
Yeah, because it's
and you look
tough.
up and you're like, oh shoot, there's been XYZ all the way to M happening, and I've just missed it because my head is all the way down here in my own
Right, exactly. Oh my
bubble.
gosh. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's so easy to do. It's so easy to do. But while I was talking to you off our recording, you did mention you were you had a grant recently. Can you tell us
Oh
more
yeah.
about what that project is on?
Yeah, sure. So it was 2019. I was given the opportunity to attend this conference. It was hosted by FTE, so the Forum of Theological Experience, that I had the connection with through an organization that I presided over um, while it's an undergrad. It's called
Mm-hmm.
Impact. It's more than just a Bible study group. We did a lot. Oh my goodness, we did a lot. We've done a lot. We've grown a lot. So much so that I was then granted another opportunity to design a national conference, which was pretty dope, but that's a totally separate thing. So it was myself and two others that went. We were the only two people from Florida. And through there, I think it was like 70 of us total from all over the place. Um, the idea was to kind of learn more about like ministry, but I personally felt like a super oddball because I'm the pharmacy student. And so myself and another individual who is an activist and really into like farming and just being an advocate for those farmers
Mm-hmm.
out there, we kind of just were talking, and we
Mm-hmm.
are just like, yo, health is wealth. And my perspective, I'm thinking, of course, your fruits, your veggies, and just the overall things that we eat culturally that may not be the best because of XYZ, carbs or proteins and lack thereof. And for him, as an environmentalist, the idea of again health is wealth because you are
Mm-hmm.
what you eat. And farmers, they make these great things that lack the pesticides and lack the GMOs. And so being able to pour into ourselves those things as opposed to whatever goes on or whatever your larger companies would push out, or whatever is in a can or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, the organization that put together the conference had a grant out, and so we decided to apply, and we both got it. And so
That's
we put
what's
our money
up.
together, and the initial idea was for us to go to Baltimore, Maryland, to be and see Dr. Heber Brown. And so he's a pastor, and what he does, which is super dope, he he uses his church to host black farmers to then create like a farmers market like within his community. Just the idea of like the community pouring into themselves, kind of breaking that capitalistic gyre that your larger companies, your Walmarts, your sometimes even your Publixes would have, or Kroger's would have. And so we wanted to, the idea was for us to kind of go in there, learn the blueprint, learn from him, and find a space in California, because my partner is from California. Find a space in California that kind of meets the same criteria, and just building that there. But then COVID. So because of COVID, oh my gosh, we had to revise our project probably like 3 times, just trying to think of how to do it virtually, and it was crazy. Then it got to a point where it was like, hey, I mean, he was just like, you just come to California and kind of just, gain some exposure to the farming practices here, and looking into the politics and the legislature around it. I was like, yeah, let's do it. I'm dope. Let's do it. And so I headed out there, and it was super dope. I was in Southern California in Camarillo. I mean, I went to LA, of course, had to be touristy, you know what I'm saying? But I learned so much. I think my outlook on food has changed, and I just could develop an even greater appreciation for what Mother Earth has been giving us, because she's been given, okay? And so just doing what I can to just pour back into her, and further appreciate the fruits that she gives us, literally the fruits that she gives us. Um, and so with that, zesty and mint, or well, zesty and tea, my mint flame. So it's been pretty dope. And my partner and I definitely connected, and again, just further understood how both of our worlds, the medical and the environmental worlds, just interlock a lot, and just build off ideas. And oh my gosh, it was great. It was really invigorating. I honestly needed it. Honestly, was a great like kickstart to what I want to do with my life, which is one of my like long-term goals, is to, after graduation, maybe after a couple of years, head to Nigeria yearly and do like health clinics, and really examine the food, that we have there, and looking, of course, into the breakdown of it, and just doing a lot of like patient education with regards to it, because too much and too little of everything is not good. And sometimes if you just cut down things gradually, you won't be at a greater risk of your hypertension. You won't be at a greater risk of your diabetes, things like that. Being able to educate on just small ways to even exercise at home, different things that can be done there. And it's not like, of course, in Nigeria, it's not like there isn't resources. They're just not accessible, super sparse. They're miles and miles away. And so if I can do what I can to educate others, just small things to keep in mind, I can only imagine what big things can be avoided in the long run. So
wow. Thank you for explaining all that for us. I really appreciate it, hearing about that. That's a unique combination of farmers and pharmacists. And I'm excited to see what you guys do with this union, especially as it pertains to food and preventative medicine, especially going back home and things like that. So I knew I was going to keep up with you, but now I know for sure I'm going to keep up with you.
Come on down. The water is fine. Yeah, I'm super excited.
Now I know, like, when I'm in Florida now, I'm gonna be like, yo, I gotta go see my girl. How she doing?
Yes, girl.
You can grab some food,
Yes. So much to see. It was just so crazy. Like in Cali, I was like, wow, it's real rocks out here. I said that a good 5,000 times. Like every 2 minutes, I'm like, oh my God, there are mountains everywhere, y'all. I'm so used to this level.
Oh yeah, man. You guys are so flat out there in Florida, and essentially underground.
It gets below the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's the mountains really, and the beaches are my favorite part of the states. And you add the sunshine to that, and I am sold. I am
That
so.
was beautiful.
But my last question for you before I let you go is, do you have any advice for our aspiring pharmacists, especially the young
Yes,
ones?
of course. But if you're in the fourth grade, girl, turn around and really think about this. No, I'm kidding. Oh man, I would say know yourself, right? You really like knowing your. Oh wait. Okay, knowing your why is so important. Knowing your why, like I have a couple of whys, and those whys keep me going. And if your why doesn't convict you enough to read that chapter you hate, or to go to work and come back, your tenure is going to be very short. Stay organized. Organization is everything. And know yourself enough to tell yourself that you need help. Um, that's something I personally struggle with. I'm the type of person where it was like, if I had a question, I'm going to look it up, look it up, look it up, look it up, look it up until I am able to figure it out. And sometimes what I didn't realize was that I had no clue what to even look at, but somebody does, and it's beyond school. It's about yourself. It's about life in general. It's okay to not be okay. Just know that it will get better. And being positive is so important. Being around positive people is even more important, right? And if not, be a light for others because you will need that. In pharmacy, no matter what field you're coming to, people are going to come to you at their worst. Somebody is going to come to you upset because they just found that they had diabetes and they don't know what to do, or scared because their dad just died of it, or they had a cousin who had to cut off his leg because peripheral neuropathy. Like it happens. And sometimes some people take it to heart, but I can never. I want to do what I can to put a smile on somebody's face and to comfort them and make sure they're okay, and ensure that they know that I'm there to take care of them. And so if you keep that mindset in everything you do, like greatness will come. Goodness will come. I can't tell you how blessed I am with the opportunities I've had, the people I've met, the rooms I've been in, the tables I've sat in or at. But it comes with just being a light in every way. So do that. Do that for yourself and do that for your community. And always remember to give back because give back and give praise if you believe, because if it was me personally, I know I could not have done this by myself. Could not have done it by myself. So.
All right. Y'all heard her. Thank you again. I really appreciate it. And as you guys hear, you whoever is listening to this, you may catch it anytime. But we literally we're recording this on both our bedtimes, and so I really appreciate you taking the time and pushing through and still thinking about joining me, even despite your crazy schedule and your busyness. But I really have appreciated having you here. Having your positive energy really has been much needed on for a Sunday evening, nonetheless.
I mean, it's an absolute pleasure again to be on this platform, your platform. It's something that I'm pretty sure is very personal to you. And so, I mean, thank you. Oh my gosh. Like, again, this was so dope. Let me know when you have another one. Honestly, it's 22. I'm trying to have multiple streams of income. And so if you are a music producer, a TV show, producer, please let your girl know. It's about time I give you a legit side hustle. So.
You know what? You'll be the first person I think of if I need any help with this, especially if it's gonna be, giving us a little bit of some on the side. Okay.
Yes, please and thank you. Oh my goodness.
All right. You have a beautiful night. Like I said, I've appreciated seeing you and having you here. Enjoy your week. May you be blessed and have a much productive and lovely week.
Hey man, thank you so much. You are so sweet. Oh my gosh. Best of luck again to you with everything and all of your endeavors. You're gonna be bomb. I'm so excited for you to come out on the other side and serve the people well because I know you would.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm gonna stop recording this.
All right, that's all I have for you today. Thank you again for joining me. I appreciate you. Please subscribe, follow, like, comment, and share. And stay blessed.